for assistance right now.
One, for ease of the movement of materials, for ease of operations of the security agencies, you would need that. Even without the election, you know the way Lagos roads are, the traffic. This is raining period and everything. So if you need to move materials from one place to the other, you can imagine the number of hours that would be spent on the road. If you are going to respond to any distress call, the time that will be wasted. And for that short period, if it becomes necessary,
not the short period, Commissioner of Police, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to 3 p.m. That means that if you're coming into Lagos, you'll be stopped at Berger.
Have you also forgotten that tomorrow is Saturday? It's supposed to be a work-free day. That is number one.
Lagos, Lagos, there is no work-free day in Lagos.
Yes.
In the sense that economy, there is no, except for banks and some other blue chip companies.
It becomes necessary for us to be secured, for us to have a peaceful process. Maybe sometimes we'll get there, but for this process, it has become expedient and necessary that we should do that.
Even the chairman of LASEC was more confident seeing the police around him. So apparently, I think there is fear everywhere. So maybe that could be a justification for
Let me quickly go to Ezenwa Nwagu. We saw and we heard that the Lagos State House of Assembly amended or touched up on the LASEC Act in the week of the election. Are you impressed by that?
Sean, how can I be impressed by that? The ferocity of that amendment, or touching up as you called it, raises very serious suspicion. And I think that, like we've heard, it casts a lot of black tar on the quality, the integrity of the election process. My expectation really was that Lagos was going to do something different, as I said earlier. Local government elections in Nigeria, across board, has been reasons for why a lot of people have been calling for the scrapping of SEC. I thought that we would see a more robust, a more transparent, a more independent SEC in Lagos, but that doesn't look like it's going to come true. And apart from that, I also wish the police commissioner a lot of good fortune. The reason is that I think civil society will need to be interrogating the numbers that are bandied when it comes to the number of police that are deployed. And incidentally, Biola, that is sitting very close to him, knows that once you get out of the city centers, you hardly will find these numbers. They are not there, and it has something to do with the political economy of that deployment. The next thing we need to be very bothered about for these people to perform optimally would also be how much of their welfare interests have been taken care of. It's very important. What we have seen in other elections will be semi-beggarly policemen who will tell you that their allowances have not been paid, and because of that, they will have to depend on even the communities and the political actors they are meant to watch out for. So, and I also worry about this whole hotspot thing. I think that we need to appreciate the fact that we're dealing with a sociological situation. That means that there's a fluidity in terms of the place that you have branded hotspot may eventually not be hotspot. So we must focus attention on everywhere and ensure that citizens are safe. But beyond all of that, the integrity of the electoral management process in the state will determine whether we can eventually begin to canvass for the need to engage the SEC in conducting elections. Get back to Kebbi, go back to Sokoto. The ruling party in the state takes everything. They are not even charitable enough to give 1% to the opposition in their allocations.
Okay.
I hope we don't see that tomorrow in Lagos, because Lagos is virtually sitting on a keg of gunpowder in terms of the actors.
Okay.
You can see how rancorous the primaries were. You can see how how tense the whole of the environment has become. The police and the security agencies need to up their game much more than capturing the imagination of people, which we always, this is a ritualistic activity. At every dawn of an election, you get to see everybody, the electoral management body.
Let me allow
how prepared, how adequately.
Let me allow Samson Itodo to weigh in on this one. We saw the amendment of the Last Year Act in the week of the election. A whole lot of things that we've seen a lot of court cases bandied left, right, and center. As it stands right now, Lagos, does it give you a sense of an example for other states, as it stands an example economically to other states in terms of election?
Shehu, this is the most criminal and the most disingenuous thing that a state house of assembly that ought to protect constitutional democracy will engage in. How can you amend an electoral law in the week of an election when you are not in a national or in a state election emergency? It puts a lot of questions. The African Charter on Democracy, Election and Good Governance, as well as the Venice Commission in the Europe, are very, very clear. And the provisions are clear that you don't amend an electoral law 6 months to the election. This is not 6 months. This is not 3 months. In a week. And look at the quality of the appointment that was made. It's just simply to serve the interest of the ruling political elite. And this is not a model that any state should adopt. And the action taken by the State House of Assembly justifies the amendment made by the Senate to the Electoral Act. And where they made amendments, they proposed amendments to the Electoral Act in the way that it also caters for local government elections, because our state legislatures, as well as even the Electoral Commission, are under the overbearing influence of the state governors. And this is not the kind of restructuring that Nigerians actually demand, or the kind of devolution of power that we want, but the devolution of power that empowers the legislature, that makes laws for the common good of the people. But what the State House of Assembly has done is not only criminal, but it is disingenuous, and it's a great disservice, not just to Lagos State, but to Nigeria.
Something, we'll go for another break. It brings us to the issue of local government autonomy. I'll be rounding up our thoughts here on the program on the issue of local council election in Lagos. Stay with us, everyone.